Here we go, and welcome back, Redblurr Gamers. As you can see, we have a couple of things on the desk, which means that today I will most likely be doing a couple of different videos to give me some space in my catalogue to be able to put out what I need to. So we're obviously going to jump straight in to this now. We have a Deathwing Knight, one of the new sculpts from last year's box that came out with the Deathwing Knights in it, the new Deathwing Assault box. So we're just going to get in and get some purple quickly onto most of his stuff. Get it in there without really much hesitation. And come back and work on a few other things later on in terms of cleaning up and prepping, where pieces go, fixing the cloth and whatnot. So all my Dark Angels are painted using Luxion Purple, the contrast paint. As you can see by the Lancer that is in the corner of the shot there, that is also painted in that fashion. Gold is the highlight accent color I like to use for their armor, like the edges of their shoulder pads per se, and whatnot. So we'll just get this in, we'll get this gold on. This has been primed, and obviously with a Vallejo white primer. The shield obviously covers off some of the primed area I wish to prime, which is fine. Does make for a little bit of pain when you're trying to get a model painted completely. And we're just going through and getting a layer of this purple on so that we can set it aside and work towards another of the crew of Deathwing Terminators. I have approximately 5 of them primed to build. They're going to go in this list that I'm attempting to test for some upcoming tournaments that will appear later on in the year around October, which I will attempt to make it to as per normal. This year there has not really been the ability to make it to the tournaments I was hoping to make it to, mainly because moved house / office to the new place with the new setup. There should be a bit of natural light coming in through my left-hand side because the new house, the windows are much bigger in the new office. I'm definitely a lot happier with the way that everything sits and where I face. Obviously got to fix the background slightly of my painting desk to make it a little bit more appealing because it does look very flat. That has been passed back to me by a couple of the lovely people who view and watch my channel. Just as I always say, feedback is always welcome, and it does help me improve, not only in terms of what am I doing there, painting ability, but also in the way that everything looks when it's set up and on screen, just making it look a little neater and nicer, and I guess more friendly for those of you who are watching to look at, so that it's not as boring or bland or dry. And that, as I said, that information coming back to me does help. It helps me make changes, and so I appreciate feedback. from wherever it comes, because most people are very good, and it's never ever criticism. It's always, you know, positive engagement in terms of it helps me improve and makes it a little bit easier for you, the fans, to watch my channel, and that always will definitely be important, because I don't want it to be hard to watch. No, I want you to enjoy being able to tune in and listen to me ramble on about random shit. So I probably shouldn't swear, random stuff. But yeah, we are just getting as much as we can on this bodywork. Obviously, I'm going to have to come back and touch up some of these little areas as we go through, which is all okay. It's more just making sure that I get somewhat of a base coat on this fella, which makes it a little bit easier, and then I can, well, grab him by his arms, put him in the background. This also then leads into the ability of hopefully painting up. Well, let's get this sorted out. Again, quickly getting paint over everything, which I will come back and touch up. Getting the colours in I want in the right spots. This is really just me basing, producing a base coat per se of the model. Instead using contrast paint versus the two thin coats method. As I said, all of my Dark Angels have been painted with contrast paint, so there is a little bit of a normal exposure here in terms of what I've been doing, but each time I do paint a model, I definitely improve, which is the aim of the game. I would say, like, for everyone who does paint, everyone is looking to obviously improve their own painting skills / style, and that is exactly what we are here for. So we're just making sure this is all kind of sorted out. If we get it in a few different wrong spots, well, then I can fix it up in future. Also allows me to make sure that I've got all the important bits coloured in. I don't want to miss out on any of those. And yeah, we can go from there. As I said, being able to paint the pieces individually actually does help in terms of making sure I get everything done, and makes me feel a little bit more comfortable per se, because I do know that everything is getting completed and the colours are going in the spots that I'm really looking for, and wanting to make sure that there's no real, when you pick a model up and you spin it around, you look at it, that there's no real missing spots per se, because that does tend to make me feel like I have made some serious errors. So this guy, obviously, hand is attached to a shield, but right now we have gotten all of the paint required on a couple of bits, just to make life a little easier. Shield will get painted in a different colour, so that will be done differently, which will make everything a little bit easier. But, you know, one down. Let's jump in. We've got a couple of others here that are obviously just off to the side. Again, have all been blue tacked before being primed. I find that it's easier. I've enjoyed this process now of like putting pieces in individual spots rather than like fully making sure that, you know, a model is completely glued together, because I'm finding that's a lot harder to deal with, like getting into cracks and crevices. And I guess as part of that, it kind of grinds my gears type OCD feeling of I'm not putting everything in the right spot and not getting colours where they need to be. So we will again jump in and start getting purple on the body of the Terminator. And really, so this will be the next few episodes of this. Might start at what I will call possibly episode 1, because I haven't really done any videos per se from memory of painting of my Dark Angels. So this will be obviously the start. There is a playlist that does have stuff in it about my Dark Angels, some discussing of choices in army and so forth. I do also like to paint out of normality. As I said, this purple Dark Angels doesn't seem right to a lot of people. There is technically 2 Dark Angels chapters lore-wise. The Cowled Wardens are purple and gold in their colorings, so that is one. But there is obviously, everyone gets to choose and pick and paint however they want. My Dark Angels are based on a lost chapter of Dark Angels that survived the warp somehow and have then lost their colours and taken on new colours, and that being the gold and purple of the Cowled Wardens, but they are classified as, I'm pretty sure from memory, I chose Angels of Justice, as they were not known to have a colour because their data had been lost during the Horus Heresy. So definitely Cowled Wardens aren't this purple, or aren't completely purple. They're more purple, black and gold, more leaning towards like black and a little bit of purple on them. So there's at least separation there in terms of how much purple is incorporated in the Cowled Wardens. So that's at least a little bit of a space for me to work within. But again, as I've said multiple times on my channel, that it should not matter what colour you want to paint your Space Marine army as long as you are happy. And I'm one for fighting for anti-gatekeeping, because I want people to, and this is why, you know, I've got a crazy coloured army that people go, oh, that's a different colour, that's nice, I like that. It's because I'm very much for, you know, that whole your choice, your selection type mentality. You're the one putting the time and effort into painting an army. If someone doesn't like it, then that's their prerogative to not like it. But it shouldn't mean that, you know, you then go ahead and go, I can't do this, I've got to change what I've painted and bend to the will of, you know, the gatekeepers of society, or the gatekeepers of Warhammer colour schemes. Because if they don't like your army, they can paint it for you if that's going to be a problem with the way you've painted. That's how I see it, that's how I feel it. So paint whatever you feel comfortable with. Don't let others dictate to you what you can and can't paint your armies. Doesn't matter whether it's Space Marines or Necrons or Tau. And again, my Tau are a totally different colour. As a colour scheme that I chose back all the way when I first got Tau in about 2000, and was it 2-ish, I think, maybe 2001 when they first came out. I wanted to make them look like stormtroopers because Star Wars. Why not? You know, who would expect to see Tau that colour? It was definitely something that my mates thought was pretty cool. The ones that I did play a tiny little bit of Warhammer with, although that did not last very long because we just didn't have time in the end, and we got stuck doing other stuff, playing sport and whatnot, so stuff just kind of got away from everyone, and that was, you know, the way things were back then. So second body painted. Just make sure we get all these bits in the right order, because I don't want to go putting them where they're not supposed to be, because that will annoy the absolute bejeebers out of me. And we come in and we're going to get some purple on this. Was the quickest one to get purple onto, to be honest, because I don't have to really do a little bit of focus, because I'm just making sure that I get it in all the crevices. Come around and we're just gonna make sure that it goes in a few spots. And while I've got the ability to come back through later and actually tidy up a lot of this, I will. Once it's all dried, there will be, you know, usually always a second coat goes on most of these models to make sure that I get everything where I need to get it, to make me feel somewhat comfortable. And then again, in with our last section, which again I was very blasé before when I painted the last one. I kind of slapped it on very aggressively, which is fair enough. That is something that can happen, and I probably shouldn't be as aggressive, but you know what? It's all about getting paint on ASAP as quickly as possible at the moment with contrast paint. Really just building up that base layer that I can then come back to and work on to tidy up and get the model in a position where I'm happy with how it looks, and then work on the finer details. So yeah, so as I said, if you like what I do, don't forget to like and follow. There is plenty of other painting coming up. There is plenty more from this series to go. Working towards having a lot more stuff. Let's say a lot more. Well, more Dark Angels painted than has previously been painted on the channel. I've got a fair bit of stuff that's not finished off yet, that's tied up, and I've got to get into it and make it look completed, because that is important to me. As I said, I'm a bit of a stickler for completion, and if I can't get it done, it's going to drive me insane. But as for right now, guys, that is obviously 2 completed. There will be more coming, and we're going to call that the end of this one. So again, probably short and sharp episode, but roughly the time frame I work in, you know, I try and do 20 odd minute videos. But yeah, there'll be more to come, more to paint, and more videos will be out shortly. But yeah, as I said, if you like what I do, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.